Thank you, everybody, for joining today. I'm Gabriel Flores, also known as Maybe Lee. I'm putting this episode together out on YouTube for you guys for the purpose of entertainment and hoping to be able to gain something from it that I can do in the future. Just more cool stuff for me to do. Basically, I have 44 episodes. All of them are pre-planned from the gate. I had all 42 or so of them planned, the topics at least. And then each morning I go through and write a thesis for one of the topics, which is a personal topic related to me, my information, stuff I know. And then I go and do research for another topic. Either I do research for a topic if I need to, or I just refine what I'm going to talk about. And then every day at 4, I start recording for 17 minutes. This series is going to have, it's a talk show. The talk show has a finale. I encourage you guys to stay tuned. We're getting close to the finale, but once we get closer, I'll give you more of a timeline and stuff like that so you can tune in. It's going to be an interesting topic. Today, we're going to jump right in, discussing some stuff about my family history and hip-hop history, which includes my timeline of hip-hop history and also hip-hop's real timeline of history. But, we'll get into more of that here in a few. But the coolest thing about my family history is growing up having family parties. One of the things that stick out more than anything. And, this part of my history is similar to an important moment in hip-hop history, which is the birth of hip-hop. And you'll see why once we get to that. But this important moment in my life, this historical moment that I always remember and stuff, is similar to an important moment in hip-hop history, the birth of hip-hop. So that's kind of a cool thing that I found out today. I knew about hip-hop and stuff like that growing up, about the history, but today I got a little bit more specific information. Bouncing back to my family history, our family comes from Colorado. My mom's parents come from a small town in Colorado. I don't even really know where it's at on the map. I've never been there. They've been there, and other people in my family have been there, but I haven't been there. My dad's family I don't really know about, but my mom's family came from Colorado, moved to Utah, and that's my grandma and my grandpa. And basically, that's where we've been ever since. And then eventually I moved here with my mom. But our family, at least the people I know, is out in Utah. We still have family in Colorado and stuff like that. And I know a few of them, but I don't know all of them. I've never been there before. I would like to go there because it's an important part of our history, where we've come from. And then also the older people in the family, they have a more in-depth view of history of the family that I'm a part of that I don't really have that much insight on, but they do. So that's what's kind of cool, to be around people like that. And what would be motivation for me to go out there to Colorado sometime. I really want to learn about the landscape and geography of Colorado. I've learned about it before, but it's something I want to pick up because that's where our family's from. I know the Spaniards settled there, but there were Native Americans there first, and the Spaniards came up after they landed in Mexico. They eventually migrated up north into Colorado, which I don't know why they'd go there. It's so fucking cold in Colorado. So I don't know how that happened, but they ended up there in Colorado. If you ask me, that's a stupid place to land because it's so cold. And then they ended up um, intermingling with the Native American women, and that's where we came from. I think that at least a portion of our family history, that's where it comes from. But we have family from all over the world, like a lot of people in the United States. But that's a big part of our history. It's a major part of our history. So that's why I want to learn more about Colorado. And then, of course, Utah, that's a place that's important to our family history because that's where everybody I know is from. And so, the history surrounding when we first got there and up is important. So, and modern history for me is going to be important for my family history as well. So, keeping track of day to day stuff is going to be important for family history as well. And especially my stuff, my information, where I'm at, is critical to the family history. My grandpa, he was a window washer. He's been a window washer for years. And one memorable thing I always remember him saying is, I wish I could have moved to like Chicago or New York because washing windows there is like the big leagues for window washers. And it made me laugh when he said that washing windows in New York and Chicago would be like the big leagues. It made me crack up when he said that. And, they own their own business throughout their whole life. They're entrepreneurs. They've always owned their own business, just cleaning a maid service type thing where they clean other people's houses. My grandpa washes windows, and my grandma would clean houses. And I think at one point in time she was not a teacher. She did something with beauty or something. She went to like beauty school or something, and she had another job. But for most of the time, she was doing that. An entrepreneur. And so that's pretty cool, knowing that about my family history. That's how they got by, and they've lived in the same house for forever in West Valley City, Utah. Some other things, family parties were a part of growing up then. We still have family parties now, but I say it's a part of my history because I was young then and my life was different, and there's a clear distinction as it being a part of history, which is why I say it's part of my family history. But to even today, now in this day and age, I'm out here, we still get together and have family parties and stuff like that. But it's different. It's not the same as that. They're still fun. I still enjoy it. But man, those memories of then, I'll always cherish, and it's a piece of knowledge that I carry forward with me, and understanding that I have that, all kids are gonna really think back on the times that they got together with their family. And so, getting together nowadays is important for me, setting an example for the younger generation and stuff like that. So it's something to think about. That part of my family history makes me think about that, and stuff like that, getting together nowadays and the younger people in our family now. And so it's kind of sad to think about it, and stuff. It makes me sad because people get older and grow up, and then new generations come along, and then we don't quite understand all of that stuff. And so, but our family history is interesting. A unique thing about our family history, is I'm the first one to join the military. I think there was somebody way back who was a great uncle who joined, but I don't know if that he went to war or not. But I'm one of the only ones in the family who joined the military, and the only one in our generation and the generations surrounding me and the people I know who've joined the military. The person I'm talking about, it's just information that I don't know if is accurate or not. But the people in my family surrounding me, the generations surrounding me, I'm the first one to join the military. Another unique thing, my cousin Stephanie went on a mission. She's a Mormon, and she went on a mission to somewhere in the Midwest where she was trying to recruit people into being Mormon and stuff like that. I'm actually baptized Mormon. I was baptized Mormon a long time ago when I started cleaning up my act and I wanted to be a better person. I became a Mormon with my stepdad. He joined with me, and we used to play basketball all the time with them, and go to church all the time and stuff. And that's fun. That's another moment that sticks out in my life. There's so many days in our life, and only certain moments stick out. And so those are the moments that are the high impact moments. Doesn't mean the other days aren't as important, but for some reason those days are sticking out, the other ones aren't. So I have to lean towards the days that are, and kind of, I don't want to say abandon, but I have to put my efforts towards what's there and what's loyal to me and stuff like that. And those are one of the things that's loyal to me, those type of memories. Our family history, I want to know more about our family history, just more insight, who they were exactly and what was going through their minds in their time when they were, wherever, when they're traveling. That's stuff, a part of my family history that I wish I could have documented, specific quotes and stuff like that. But other things that can be added to my family history. My aunt, she's worked for the government, the state government, for a long time, for forever. And my uncle, he works for the government too. My other uncle, he's a truck driver. He's been a truck driver. All these guys have long-lasting careers, which I think is really cool. And they must get it from my grandparents because they always maintained the entrepreneur spirit and stuff like that. But I always think back to those parties when we get together. I would always look forward to the family parties. I would always look forward to whether it was Christmas or just hanging out, because it'd usually be an opportunity for me to ask my mom if I could sleep over at my cousin's house, or if I could just spend the night over there, or if he could spend the night at my house. I would always look forward to it for that reason. But it's similar to, I want to shift over to hip hop history. And basically my timeline of hip hop. For me, hip hop began when I was born and when I started listening to it. And that, that's back in the early 90s, 92, 93, 91, 92, 93 is when hip hop was born for me. So that's my timeline. And my timeline consists of music I've listened to. That's the evolution of hip hop for me. And that's equally as important as hip hop, because, well, hip hop isn't just one linear thing anyways. Hip hop is all over the United States, has different forms of hip hop, rap, gangster rap, stuff like that. So, you can't really, but for me, for an individual, hip hop can be linear, is linear, and you can get it as close to linear as you want or not. For me, I can identify the linear stuff. So, hip hop history, the timeline is the stuff that I listened to, when I started listening to it, why I was listening to it. But the real hip hop history is this, from a webpage that I found. It's called Curbed, entitled Hip Hop History Began in the Bronx 44 Years Ago Today by Amy Plitt, who wrote it on August 11th, 2017. This article can be found from ny.curbed.com. And basically she states, quote unquote, on a hot summer night in the Bronx in 1973, DJ Kool Herc, then known by his given name Clive Campbell, changed music forever, quote unquote. And she's talking about a back to the school party that they were throwing for his sister. His sister was going back to school. They threw a back to school party, and he was the DJ, and he chose this moment to introduce something he had stumbled upon. He'd found in what he called as breaks in the music. And breaks in the music allowed people to dance more, and they really liked having break after break after breaks in the music. And he did this, he accomplished this by having turntables where he would spin more than one record and mix different artists together at the same time. And he would use a turntable and put the breaks in that way, and people could dance and stuff like that. Later on down the line, an MC was added, a master of ceremony, which was a person who would have a microphone and he would talk over the instrument, getting the party started and livening up the party, getting people to have to party to get the party started. That's what the MC was responsible for, and so that's the birth of hip hop. And then down the line, you have rap, gangster rap, and you got freestyling and stuff like flowing, busting, and so there's different forms of hip hop now. West Coast and East Coast style. There's different styles. West Coast, East Coast, down south, Chicago, Illinois, stuff like that. And so it's really cool. You know, the birthplace of hip hop can be targeted to one specific place. It's not marked, but the state of New York recognizes it as the birthplace of hip hop. So I found that really interesting that, you know, hip hop has a definitive birthplace and stuff like that. And I have a definitive birthplace. So, you know, it's kind of hip hop is my life. It's a part of my life. It's a part of my history, my family history. Well, not a part of my family history, but it's similar to my family history. I hope you guys found this interesting. We'll check in next time for the next exciting topic. See you later.